The casting couch is standard practice in the industry. Actors who want the role are not only required to sleep with particular power players, but their partners and friends as well.
Recording artist Kaya Jones is also calling out the music industry. Kaya, who used to be a member of the Pussycat Dolls, she tweeted this weekend, "My truth, I wasn't in a girl group. I was in a prostitution ring. Oh, and we happened to sing and be famous while everyone who owned us made the money." When you say it's a prostitution ring, those are strong words. People want to understand this.
Oh, well, you know, when you have a den mother from hell that's controlling the girls, manipulating the mind, and verbally and mentally abusive, what's the difference between that and a pimp in order to control the narrative?
Cat dolls, or are you saying that there's even a larger conglomerate of females in the music industry that are victimized by this?
Oh my God. I mean, the list goes far deep and wide.
Everyone who is a big name in Hollywood is either a participant or kept silent. All of your favorite celebrities were likely involved. Everyone knew.
Congratulations, you 5 ladies no longer have to pretend to be attracted to Harvey Weinstein.
But really, this is just the very first level. What they don't want you to know is that all of these recent allegations against Weinstein are just the tip of the iceberg. This goes deep. The elites who run Hollywood are satanic. Now, on the surface, it seems odd that in the age of science and technology, powerful moguls and studio execs would engage in arcane rituals. However, this has been going on since the beginning of Hollywood, and has been exposed by numerous researchers and even movies and cartoons.
Putting their lives at risk for a big fat prize. It's not a nature documentary. Irving, call security and have these...
Sir, it's him. This always gives me the creeps, sir.
He's the president of Hollywood. He's supposed to give you the creeps.
Greetings, your tinseliness, imperious leader of Hollywood.
There are a lot of secret societies in Hollywood. You know, what you see from the outside is only the tip of the iceberg. But, you know, it goes deep. You see satanic rituals happening. You hear about them from friends. There are culty organizations springing up left and right. People join up with organizations that may not be beneficial for them.
Doubters need look no further than the cannibal-themed cake parties held by satanic witch Marina Abramovic. Abramovic holds disgusting rituals called spirit cooking, attended by some of the most famous and powerful people in the world. Lady Gaga is quite the fan of Abramovic. Notice the similarity between the ingredients for spirit cooking as written on the walls and Lady Gaga's perfume, which featured bodily fluids such as blood and semen.
I've worked in Hollywood, unfortunately, almost since I was 21. I'm almost 38. And you know, if you really research the Katy Perry's, the Lady Gaga's, the Jay-Z, the Beyonce, they all have the same talking points. They all have the same agenda, and they're all really dark people. And when I say dark, I mean these people worship Satan. Okay? They do it in their music videos. They talk about it in their music lyrics. They talk about murdering people. They talk about Lucifer. They don't hide it. They hide it in plain sight.
Do you record while the bus is moving, or does it have to come to a stop?
Yeah, well, sometimes they don't want to, and they're, you know, Gaga, we can't get, you know, the frequency's weird, and, you know, it's sounding a little bit strange, and I'm like, if you don't get this right now, I swear to Lucifer, I'm gonna...
Swear to Lucifer.
Indeed, Hollywood itself is named for the wood from the holly tree that druids used to make magic wands. Once an aspiring entertainer submits to these sexual abuses, they are led down into the dark underworld of the entertainment industry, requiring increasingly depraved acts as they go along.
Anything that we would think is totally inhuman, abominable, then that's what you must do. It's expected of you to be as vile as possible. If you can't be vile, you're not going to get anything. You stop going to the meetings and you stop going to rituals, you start slowly losing everything that you had built up. Because if you want the movie roles coming in, then you've got to keep doing the rituals. If you don't do your time in the rituals, you suffer.
The Punisher.
If you want to be a celebrity in Hollywood, then your attendance at these parties is going to be mandatory. Eating feces, drinking urine, having sex with these old men. You give up everything.
The entertainment industry was created by the powers that should not be. They are afraid that anybody who would become made into an idol not be controllable, because let's say that you have somebody who's become an idol, let's say like the Beatles. Yeah. If they were to say anything that the powers that should not be don't want said, they could cause a lot of trouble. So across the board, these people in the entertainment industry have been compromised. A large share of them have had to make a pact where they sell their soul to Satan. I know that sounds outrageous, but that's what happens.
Hank Harrison, Courtney Love's father, stated matter-of-factly that the heads of MTV were conducting satanic rites and required the same of those who wished to be featured on the channel.
Was Courtney, do you know of, ever involved in the occult or witchcraft or anything like that?
Absolutely, man. No kidding. She got really fascinated with it, especially when she was with MTV. And the head people at MTV were totally into satanic cults. Johnny Depp made a movie. Remember the movie he made about the missing book?
Yeah.
And they went and he found it. Yeah, that's the kind of stuff that was going on.
Well, like what?
The kind of stuff where they were having meetings and wearing red masks and sacrificing people and stuff.
Get the hell out of here, at MTV.
The heads of MTV, the people at the top levels of MTV were definitely...
This is it. Welcome to MTV Music Television, the world's first...
You know, I knew when MTV first started that there was a cult of black magic or dark magic people at MTV.
Really? And you know this from a source that you trust?
I trust and also through the original MTV people, the musicians that were going through MTV couldn't get on MTV unless they were vetted by these people.
Really?
And they had definite proclivities to not let anybody in there unless they were able to manipulate them through these various cult practices. You know, they get so much power, so much money, they just think they can do anything, you know.
But I was the managing president of Zodiac Productions. I got to know many of the people who produce music and sing the music and play the music that you play. Now, one of the closest friends that I got during that time that I obtained was a man named David Crosby. Crosby, Still, Nash & Young. I saw David the day before Christmas last year, talked with him. I said, David, I'd like to ask you a couple questions. I've been hearing that you must be an initiated witch now to get a record contract. He said, that's right. He says, many of us that weren't total witches have to be witches now in order to produce music.
Or those who didn't know, I was also there one night late. I wanted to meet Jay-Z. There he was coming. They're like, oh, he wants to meet you. So I watched them open a closet, which I thought was a closet. It was like a double closet, right on the main floor. It was all the way in the back, but there was like a dance area. You could open it. Man, there was like an altar, but it was small because the closet wasn't deep. And I said, what are you guys doing? They're like, oh, we're putting the masters together. I know something negative when I see it. And I just asked them, there's a lot of purple, there was some cup. I said, what are you doing? And they said, you need to get out of here. He was Catholic, he needs to leave. And I said, I know what you guys are doing. I says, I heard about this. And then we were fired, gone, contracts ripped up, destroyed.
Frank and I were discussing what he went through with Heist Click, what he went through with his band, and what he witnessed. And you heard him say that there was an altar in there. Okay, now I'm going to play a clip, and I actually played this for Frank the first time I got a chance to speak with him about this a couple weeks ago, and he had never heard this. So here you have two separate people, and they're both saying the same thing. So I'm just saying, look, you don't have to believe what we're talking about. And I don't expect you to believe in what the elites believe in. John Todd from the 70s discussing the altar and what they do with the master, and then Frank and I can get back into it.
After it's been recorded, it's taken in. This is why a master is cut months in advance before it's released. On the full moon, it's taken in to a temple room about the size of this auditorium that is in every one of the major music companies, behind locked doors up in the executive offices. And it's placed on an altar sitting in the north of the room, and a pentagram engraved in the floor. And 13 hand-chosen witches and wizards and a coven come in and conjure a principality or a power up, usually Regia or something like that, and order him to tell the demons under him to follow every record and every tape coming off of that master.
These ancient acts are ritualistic in nature. They are methods of cult initiation, designed to gain control over the initiate through trauma and blackmail. Actors are often required to perform in illicit underground porn films distributed among Hollywood's inner circles. Some of it is especially produced for a particular power player or politician. Marilyn Monroe was used in such sick films.
When Frank returned from Calneva, he asked me if I would develop the film myself and not let anybody else see it. And I developed the film, and I saw Marilyn on all fours. There were about 9 frames of film. She was quite sick. She looked sick, and astride her, either riding her like a horse or trying to help her up, I couldn't tell which, was Sam Giancana. Either riding her like a horse.
Fritz Springmeier claims Madonna was used in such underground films as well. Snuff films are produced when actors or models are used up or start speaking out, many times made to look like an overdose or suicide. Think the movie Eyes Wide Shut. Hollywood has at its disposal a powerful means of manipulating the minds of millions of children through subliminal messages, storylines, and themes, essentially grooming an entire nation. As above, so below.
So for them, because of social media, because everyone has an iPhone, because people can take pictures and video, and because all of this stuff is starting to come to light, and it's harder for them to get away with these horrific things that they do behind closed doors.
Yeah.
They understand that to continue to do these things, they're going to just have to normalize it and make it seem acceptable to rape kids, acceptable to drink blood, acceptable to eat a baby.
Well, the success of the Dick Van Dyke Show changed things dramatically. Carl started inviting many of his famous friends to son.
The 70s were very different. In the 70s, there was a child molester that lived in my hometown. And it wasn't a big deal. It wasn't like, we caught a child molester. It was just like, yeah, that's the house where the child molester lives. He lives where, hey, kids, don't be stupid or you'll get molested. Just stay away.
It's true, I date younger guys. And I have my reasons, but I'm not going to go into them. But I did find myself very strangely the other day at breakfast with my son Rocco thinking, I haven't had a date in a couple of weeks. And I looked at my son without thinking, and I said, do you have any friends you could introduce me to? And I was like in between mouthfuls of pancakes. And he looked at me with shock and disgust and dismay and disdain, a lot of words that start with a D. And then I was like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean that. I'm just kidding. Anyway.
It's like a high school party. These high school chicks, it's on. Watch it, Stifler. You know these girls are like half your age.
I know.
Jim, these young chicks, I know some crazy shit.
It doesn't take long to see the kind of society these sickos are trying to create. Do you really trust a bunch of rapists and pedophiles to entertain your children?